Let's speak to Yuriy Sak, an advisor to Ukraine's defense minister. Thank you for joining us. Are you expecting more attacks today?
It is difficult to say, of course, whether there will be more attacks. At the moment, we're focused on removing the results of the current attacks. And as your previous reporter correctly said, there have been 83 missiles launched today at Ukraine, at different cities in Ukraine. 43 of them have been intercepted by Ukraine's air defense systems. And, we regard this as a sign of impotence of the Russian army. They are unable to achieve any military success on the battlefield. So they think wrongly that these missile attacks, that this missile terror can help them terrify Ukrainians, can help them intimidate the international partners of Ukraine. This will not happen. We will not budge. We will not cave in. We will continue to fight and we will win.
This appears to be a response to the attack on the Russian bridge into Crimea. Is that your feeling too?
Of course, it does look like a response to what happened on the Kerch bridge. But look, this is not the first time that Russia has shown its true colors. This is not the first time that we have seen that Russia is a terrorist state. Yesterday, they struck 12 missiles at Zaporizhia and killed 13 civilians. 3 days before that, another missile strike, another 13 missiles at Zaporizhia, 18 people dead, civilians. So Russia is a terrorist state, and it's about time the international community recognized this and designated Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism on an international arena. This is what our military and political command is calling for. And this is very logical. Looking at the streets of Kyiv today, one should have no doubt that Russia is the only state terrorist who is responsible for everything that is happening now in Ukraine.
I think the image of the playground is particularly shocking to people. A missile right in the middle of a playground, right in central Kyiv, where it has felt relatively safe recently. But I wanted the counter argument would be that the attack on the bridge into Crimea was also a civilian target.
We have not said that this was an attack, right? We said that there was an explosion. And look, this explosion, this blast on the Kerch bridge, the truck driver was a Russian. The truck was Russian. The truck came from Russia. And it seems very suspicious that they were able to conduct their investigation so fast. When it comes to investigating the murders just outside Kremlin, like the one of Boris Nemtsov, it takes them years and they cannot do anything. And look here, the most secure, the most highly protected bridge in Europe, as they used to claim, right? And they've investigated everything and found all the puzzles of this jigsaw within 24 hours. We don't trust those findings. We have to look into Russia because what's happening there is not clear. It's chaos. They are suffering humiliating defeats on the battlefield. And of course, they're desperate. Everything they do is a sign of desperation. And you are rightly saying that this is not just the playground. I was personally yesterday jogging past that playground, and it was full of children. So it's lucky that it's Monday and there were no children there, because yesterday there were more than 50 children with their parents, small children. Right next to it, there is a museum, art museum. Next to it, there is a museum of Ukrainian poet Taras Shevchenko. These are terrorist acts. Russia should be designated as a state sponsor of terrorism. Now, not then, later, right now.
Your suggestion on the truck on the Kerch Bridge being Russian is that this wasn't a Ukrainian attack, but came from Russia? Is that your suggestion?
Well, it's not my suggestions. These are facts. The guy who was driving that truck is a Russian citizen. The truck was registered in Russia. The truck came from Russia. So if we want to get
they're suggesting
answers,
it was sabotaged by the Ukrainians, aren't they, by the intelligence services?
We cannot comment on something that happened, with these circumstances. So, we just have to look for answers, not in Ukraine, but somewhere else, in the state terrorism.
How will you respond to the attacks across Ukraine today?
We will continue our counteroffensive. This does not change our military objective, which is to liberate completely our land from the occupiers. And of course, another type of response that we have is, we need to receive, and this is a call to our international partners, We need to receive modern, efficient air defense systems and anti-missile systems. And just 2 days from now, on October 12th, there will be a Ramstein meeting of the ministers of defense of more than 50 countries. And we hope that, today shows that Ukraine needs to continue to receive the military support, and in particular, air defense systems and anti-missile systems.
What's the latest situation on the front lines against Russia? Are you continuing to push them back, over recent days and into this week?
Since the beginning of October, for example, just in Kherson region, the Ukrainian army liberated almost 1,200 square kilometers. These are tens of villages. Russian army is crumbling. They're surrendering. And unfortunately, in those places where we are liberating, we are finding, of course, the sites of war crimes. And this is another responsibility which the international community will have to deal with. Set up an international tribunal for the war criminals and bring to justice not just those who have committed them, but also those who have ordered them from the Kremlin.
And in terms of what you're expecting to happen this week, that's the mission, that continues to be the mission on the ground, and not to be distracted by what's happened today in Kyiv, for example?
Absolutely. Our mission will be unchanged. We understand that, we're fighting for our land, and we are fighting for the freedom of Europe, if not of the freedom of the world. So we have no other choice. It's a war of survival, and we will win. We will prevail.
OK, thank you very much indeed for joining us with your perspective from the Russian military point of view. Thank you very much indeed, and our thoughts with everyone who was affected by those strikes today. So, of course...
This was a Ukrainian point of view.
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Apologies.
Thank you.
We will stay across this story for you, of course, and we'll bring you developments as they happen. For now, we're going to take a short break. Just to remind everyone what's happened today, a series of apparently Russian attacks across Ukraine, including the capital Kyiv, which hasn't been targeted in recent months. So a very unsettling time for them. That's one of the images that we received this morning.